Okay, hi, I'm Richard. I'm a compulsive overeater, and my absence is three weighed and measured meals a day off the gray sheet. I write my food down, commit my food to my sponsor, and weigh and measure without exception. I don't eat no matter what. And as a result of these actions and the grace of God, one day at a time, I've been abstinent from compulsive overeating. Since February 15th of 1990, abstinence is the most important practice that I do. And I call it a practice because it's a practice like brushing my teeth, like a yoga practice, like throwing the ball before the game. Um, it's I don't have to debate about whether it's more important than job or family or God or anything like that. It's what you call orthogonal to those things. Uh, so, well, so my story really starts way back. Uh, when I was probably 5 or 6. And I'm not going to go that far. I'll just say that, um, when we grow up, we think we're having the normal experience that every other kid does. And it wasn't the case. For me, my parents were much older than typical childbearing age. My father was 46, and my mother was 40 when I was born. I had two sisters who have recently, in the last couple of years, passed away at the ages of 90 and or 93, I think. And, uh, you know, wow, I was like, or when I was born, they were like 18 and 19 years old. One of them talked about changing my diapers. So I came along, I didn't have a clue about what went before me, but there was all this history, but no one told me. And so I was just like, clueless. Um, that really didn't matter too much for a long time, but there was something that occurred before I was born. I can't go into the details. Can I go into the details? I choose not to. Um, but it affects me every day in every possible way. And what it did is it imbued me with the shame of being alive. And it was the belief is that I'm heinous, evil, destructive of mankind by my very existence and unworthy of living. This didn't come to me immediately. It took over 30 years of gray sheet abstinence and lots of written inventory to get to this point. But it was always with me. And consequently, I I knew I was flawed and bad. I believed that. And um, right. So my the way I related to people was entirely different from the way most people might. Uh, I was heavily burdened by shame and coming to grips with that and understanding that was a major portion of my recovery. However, what it did was because of the belief that I was um, heinous and evil, it meant that I was always trying to look for evidence that I was okay, just evidence that I wasn't like that. You know, I was young, and that little kid still inside of me, And years later, here's the way I wrote about it. I am powerless over this problem, and the best I can do with my own attempts are to calm the emotions and deep obsession through distractions in pursuit of ease and comfort. Eating was my primary tool for this until February 15th of 1990. Here we are, fast forward from, age 5 or 6 or -2 to uh, age 40. And I'm overweight. I've been overweight for 10 years. I've been 60 pounds. I don't come from huge numbers, but clearly I was heavier than I needed to be. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, here's a picture of me and with my wide tie. And that's back when I had black in my beard. And then uh, here's a picture of me when I'm probably 8 or 9 years old. Yeah, that's my cousin in the background. But you can see I'm just a normal kid. So something happened in there, and I don't fully understand it. But as I matured, the idea of I just had real problems relating to uh, to others. Let's say that. So going on, uh, right? Okay, I said eating was my primary tool for living, basically, until February 15th of 1990, which is my abstinence date. Since then, the practice of gray sheet abstinence saved me from truly self-destructive, bad behavior, self-defeating emotional binges on thousands of occasions. It is only through the daily practice I even have a slight hope of life, which is not constantly obsessed with the compulsion to prove that I am okay, right, the best, useful, and this list goes on, but it always leads to still greater delusion, depression, despair, and despondency. In short, the pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization that the big book speaks of on page 30. For most of this, I have eaten to try to calm this obsession, and it works slightly. And because it does temporarily distract and comfort me from the pain, the obsession then becomes about the food and its ease and comfort.
That's 8.
Thank you. My deepest obsession has annexed the territory of eating, and by this fact alone, I am powerless over food and my life is unmanageable. Okay, I have gone past the event horizon. I am in the black hole. I didn't even see it. I didn't even know about it. As a matter of fact, I was unaware of it until, let's see, let me finish this paragraph and I'll tell you what happened next. Even if all else has changed, this condition as a compulsive overeater is chronic, and I do not want to attempt to fix it. I don't want to try to eat normally. I don't want to go for a Zemtec or whatever the weight loss things are. Why would I do that? And then I'd lose the opportunity for real spiritual growth and all the promises of that are in the ninth step in the big book. Why would I walk away from that? Why? Because it looks easy. Life isn't easy. It's life. Gray sheet isn't easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay. So I don't want to attempt to fix it because then again, it is the obsession to try to prove I'm okay. And that's a delusion because I am okay. I am enough. I do enough. For me, the daily treatment of weighing and measuring my food is sufficient, for this gives me a basis of living which I have not achieved any other way. Right, so this is something I wrote on, it's out there in the GreyNet, January 7th, 2013. This is slightly edited, but it takes 4 minutes to read, and I don't have 4 minutes. So what happened? I was in Al-Anon. I was 40 years old, and I was trying to, I was 39 actually. And I was trying to lose weight. I weighed about 60, 70 pounds. Or gosh, a lot more now because I'm older and lost a bunch of muscle mass, but I was about 60 pounds, 70 pounds overweight about that time. And I was trying to do my 4-step in Al-Anon. I was also trying to lose weight by swimming at Barton Springs. And it's worth the laugh to look at the picture here. Yeah, that's really me. Trust me. I'll share this one also with you. Yeah, this is a year and 10 months after I'm abstinent. Can't quite get it past my background, but I'm out scuba diving on a boat, and you say I've lost a bunch of weight. So I was overeating, and I didn't know it. On this particular day, back at Barton Springs, swimming, trying to lose weight, I'd swim a mile, and I'd haul out, lay in the sun.
That's 12.
Thank you. I am wrapping up. I was reading from the big book. Started with how it works. And here's my big book. It's got plenty of use, and I cannot throw it away. I cannot get a new one because it's got all my notes in it. Okay. So I was reading from that and going through the part coming up to the 3rd-step prayer. And I was just kind of meditating. I'd read a little bit and meditate. And suddenly I got it. 3rd step was not about something that I necessarily do. I have to trust that it's happened. And then I have to act like it. And on that particular day, after I got out and showered, I would always have an opportunity to stop at the snack stand. And I would have some of you have heard this before, I bet. I always have the argument in my head. And for some reason, I would have the argument about whether I should have it or not. And the truth is, I did not know what was going to happen. And the arguments were, oh, you've had a hard week, you deserve it. You had a good workout, you deserve it. You don't need this really. And I just had no idea how it would come out. And on this particular occasion, having done a 3rd step, I didn't realize it. I said, okay, God, you decide. If I'm going to walk up there just like I usually do. If I still want it, I'll get it. If I don't, I won't. And it wasn't until I got within about an arm's reach of the counter that the desire to eat that snack, the desire for that snack, and the argument in my head vanished, just vanished. And I walked right on by and I thought, wow, this is going to work. So that's how I got here. It took me, that was in August. It took another 6 months to get in to go to a meeting. I picked up a chip, got a sponsor, and then there's a long history of recovery and all sorts of experiences. So I hope you got something from it. I sure enjoyed telling you about it. You can always, let's see, do I have a couple of minutes?
That's time.
I'm done then. Okay. So I just throw in that, what I do is I'm, I write my food list down. I make a phone call. I don't send by text. And I have a good plan if I don't have the food in the house to get it there. And then I'm responsible for preparing it and getting myself in the right place with the food at the time I'm supposed to eat, with the time to be able to eat it. My number is there in the bottom of my uh, Hollywood Square. And this is the final qualification that I'm having to celebrate 35 years of back-to-back abstinence. Thank you very much.